But Disneyland opened, and like a lot of other places, it wasn't the success that everybody had expected it to be. And Walt Disney borrowed $50,000 from his aunt to finish the park. And there was some good times and some bad times, and it was struggling. And Tommy Walker, who was Walker Promotions, and Walt hired him, and he came up with an idea. And what are we going to do? He came up with the idea of Dixieland Friday night. And Dixieland bands would come into Disneyland. And it became an amazing success. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
And so...
You were there on opening day.
Well, yeah.
He was there on Disneyland
I
opening day.
I crawled over the fence. And so Tommy Walker is given credit, substantial amount of credit. Disney and George Bruns, who was director of music for Disney, and Tommy Walker, they all were part of Jerry's life. And so Jerry had this entertainment relationship, and as a worker in the shipyards, they did the thing at night afterwards, where they had kind of a speakeasy or something. So there was that aspect, and that probably caused Jerry to be open for this kind of building. So then the next thing after the Dirigo Barn, seems to me, was Grunican Land. And Grunican Land was, Jerry and I went shopping or somehow, and we found these great huge bears where you would sit in the lap. Two people could sit in the lap of a bear, and these bears were on rails. I don't remember, it was from some park somewhere. And so we bought those, and then we themed the ride around the bears, and the bears would go through Grunican Land. And George Bruns wrote the music for Grunican Land, and it was a very catchy tune. George was amazing at that. And then Don Brown did the theme of the ride facade, and it was a mountain. And the mountain was made out of chicken wire, and I don't remember. Gosh, it's been 48 years. It was.
Did they blow it in?
No, we troweled it on. I'll think of it in a minute. Okay, so we built Grunican Land, and throughout the ride, there were things that came up, and the little people would jump up and down, and all this kind of stuff. And Don Brown came up with all the different animation and stuff. And Jim, the genius mechanic, would create so that everything worked. And we were very close to animatronics. We didn't do animatronics, but with George Bruns' help, we came real close. George Bruns had just finished doing one of the first major animatronic amusement devices at Disneyland, and so he came up and helped us with it. And one of the interesting things was we started getting animals, and we started to get a pretty good population of peacocks. We hadn't any idea of the noise a peacock would make. And so one night I was at the restaurant or somewhere, and I got a guy coming in from the trailer park who's telling me that there are children dying in the lagoon.
And this woman's screaming.
And
Yeah.
they could hear the people screaming. And I said, what is it? And we all went out there. And if you've ever heard a peacock in heat, they go, help! Help! Help!
That's just what it sounds like.
And these people heard these children in the lagoon crying for help, and so we had to solve that problem. But anyhow.